With Jermaine Johnson likely done for the season, the New York Jets have just lost all of their leverage, and Robert Saleh and the team is going to have to figure out a way to make up for the lost talent in Jermaine Johnson, the Jets' standout edge rusher, while Haason Reddick continues to hold out. And Matt and I are going to break it down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and we're going to jump right into the video as always, because the New York Jets just effectively lost so much leverage with Haason Reddick when Jermaine Johnson went down in the third quarter with now what appears to be an Achilles injury. It sucks to see, as Ian Rappaport mentioned. It's not a surprise, unfortunately, that it appears that he did tear his Achilles. He's going to get an MRI to confirm it. And just by judging on the way that the field looks, just looking at them, with just getting hugs by the coaches, by the players, you knew it was a serious injury the moment it happened. Seeing him get carted off, the way he went down, all of a sudden his leg just gave, complete non-contact injury, very terrifying to see. And obviously it sucks that this happened. Jermaine Johnson, awesome football player, awesome dude, really important to the Jets team. It also sucks in the sense that now the Jets have a lot less leverage with Haason Reddick than they did approximately 5 hours ago. Despite the fact that the Jets did win the game and the defense looked better, it doesn't really change much of the fact, in my opinion, that Reddick is still kind of, either him or his agent is making a serious mistake, just forfeiting money. Now Reddick's forfeited, nearly $1.5 million over 2 weeks. Losing that much money over 2 weeks is insane, especially with trying to accrue a contract. And honestly, where do you see this going when we're right now looking at a Jets team that definitely is going to need help on the edge rushing? And we're going to do a video on Will McDonald, talk about that because he had an awesome game. But that'll be a full different video, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed. But also, looking at this Jets, where do you think they go from here? Do you think they're going to start paying Reddick or negotiating with him more now that they are in a tough situation here?
So I think they have to at least go back to Reddick and see whether he's changed his mind about how much money he wants, because we just talked about how he's losing I think the number was $791,000 a week. That's every single game that he misses. So he has to be feeling that. There's no way he can't be happy losing that much money, because he has to figure out at what point is he just getting fined too much money to where the contract he does sign, it's just not worth it. He's got to make sure he can make it worth it for him. And the problem with his injury is the players always know whether this injury is serious or not. When you see the players hugging their guys, and especially when you see also the other team is, especially, when they're paying attention, they know it's a serious injury. Everyone in the NFL, they've seen stuff like that. Seems like the Jets, for some reason, have a horrible luck with Achilles. This 2 years in a row that a very important player has lost their season to an Achilles injury. And Haason Reddick he's going to feel like he has more leverage, but we know about Joe Douglas, his history with paying guys. I'm still not sure he's going to get pushed around. But one thing I am sure about, first of all, the Jets don't want to sign him because they're going to save money. But who are they saving money for is the question. Because if you're not going to pay Haason Reddick, shouldn't the money be spent somewhere else on someone else who can help the team? So they got to figure something out, because Will McDonald had a great game, but it's not good process to depend on a second-year pass rusher to have a breakout season. The Jets can't win games that way. And we're going to see how this goes forward. Next game's on Thursday, so the Jets have a short week. So they need, the front office of the New York Jets needs to have answers now.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I think in the short term, what you're going to see is more Will McDonald. And I don't mind that based off the game that he had this week, today. And honestly, I look at McDonald, not a great rookie year. I don't really want to be like it was super underwhelming considering the way the Jets use their edge rushers and their defensive line in general, but obviously, it wasn't a standout year. When Jermaine Johnson got drafted by the Jets in the first round in a similar range pick to where Will McDonald got selected, we saw Jermaine do way more in his rookie season than we saw Will do in his last season. So it is one of those situations where you're like, okay, it's great that Will McDonald's playing well. That's awesome. Like, is he Jermaine Johnson? No. But what can Will McDonald do now that, looking at this roster, without Reddick and without Johnson, he's probably the feature edge rusher now. It depends on if Will can fill that void, and maybe we'll see the Jets try to trade for someone down the line in a week or two. I think it depends a lot on how they do against the Patriots, how the pass rush specifically does against the Patriots. That'll have them, like, that'll really show how much the Jets need to do. And in defense of Joe Douglas when it comes to drafting, he's been very good at drafting throughout his tenure with the Jets. He hasn't missed on too many picks. And so I'm inclined to believe that Will McDonald maybe just had a slow start to his career in regards to his rookie year and is going to figure it out. And now he's got the chance to really show what he could do. He's got a great chance to get better because he's going to be on the field more than he was at any point last season or probably was expected of at any point this season because now Jermaine Johnson's done for the year. So I'm really curious to see where this goes. I'm curious to see how Will McDonald's going to fare. But again, just going back to Reddick, I agree. I don't think that Douglas is going to get pushed around. I still think, like, looking at it, yeah, Haason Reddick has more leverage now. He's still losing money to not play football on a contract that will just extend an extra year if he doesn't play. You keep having to go back to that, and it's going to put such a low ceiling on how much leverage Haason Reddick could ever have, no matter what's going on with the Jets, I think.
Yeah, and also you have to think other teams, when they see how Haason Reddick has handled this contract with the Jets, they have to be scared to trade for him. Because there's no way there's a team looking out and they go, oh, I need a pass rusher. They're not going to go and look and say, oh, we're going to go get Haason Reddick. Because you can trade for him and maybe he just does the same thing with you guys. But another guy that we haven't talked about yet is Quinnen Williams, who he puts up a lot more pressures than sacks because through the interior, it's a lot harder to get those sacks because when let's say he beats the center or the guard, it's a lot easier for a guard or a different offensive lineman to get a hand on you as well to make it so he can't actually finish sacks. But Quinnen Williams, not that he hasn't stepped up because he's been a great player, but he needs to continue to step up and help the Jets force pressures, force sacks, force mistakes by the quarterbacks. Because if we can get the quarterbacks to throw a pass a hair early, a hair late, and miss the windows that they're going for, DJ Reed, Michael Carter, Sauce Gardner, Tony Adams, they're going to make these guys pay. They're going to make them pay. So
I agree. I think it's something we're going to have to go out there and wait to see. We're going to check on what they're going to do because looking at this now, I do think there is going to be some fear that there's a lack of pass rushing to this team. And you're right, Quinnen Williams is going to be huge. He's just always going to be huge for them. But I am curious to see where this goes. And I agree. I just don't think that Reddick's going to stop holding out. I don't think it's something that it's the Jets specifically. Teams like the Bears and the Lions have been named as potential destinations if Reddick were to get moved. Sure, the Lions are good. Maybe he'll be like, you know what? Lions might be the best team in football. They're not, but he might think, all right, I'm here. Now they're the best team in football. Like, he's obviously confident in himself if he thinks he can get somewhere between $25 and $28 million per year. So I'm kind of inclined to believe that regardless of that, even if he goes to a team that's better than the Jets, and mind you, there's only so many teams that are better than the Jets. They're not hot garbage. Like, so I don't really think this would stop at any other team. I really just don't see that happening. I think Haason's going to try to keep holding out until the contract extension happens, and I do have a feeling eventually the Jets and Reddick will work out something because you have to imagine Reddick does want to play football, and he wants to show why he deserves this contract if he knows he's just not going to get it. So,
and when he comes back, he should have a fire lit under him because he is going to want to prove to the Jets potentially or any other team that he is still that guy. He can still put up a ton of sacks because he knows that if he comes back with the Jets and plays the required 6 games, if he only has 1 sack or half a sack or no sacks, I'm not even going to put out an estimate of where his contract valuation would be around the league because a now older player with maybe someone who's been tabbed as a potential problem for your team, he's going to be hurting himself in the long term financially a lot.
I agree. But guys, let us know what you think in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Despite the fact that it's Sunday, Matt and I are both clearly hanging on to consciousness. I can't even speak. It's been a long weekend. Shout out to Fairfield, the city, the town. I'm losing it, guys. Have a great day.
Bridgeport is where we work.
Not
where we went
to college, guys. I'm a wreck. Go Jets.